Well, it'd be a lot easier. It's a lot easier on their back and central nervous system. You'd still have 2 days. You'd have a max effort day. 72 hours, you'd have a speed strength day. On the max effort day, here we rotate each week a maximum effort exercise. When you handle the same weight 3 weeks in a row at 90% or above, you will go backwards. This is science. It's called the law of accommodation. We've gotten by that years ago by just switching to major exercise. Each week we switch. And so basically, you got a lot of max effort exercises. I'm going to name out a few, and you're just going to pick a few. The ones that work best, 5 or 6, rotate them. A lot in the bench press, like anything, we actually do 2 max efforts. So you might do an incline and a decline, or a floor press and a seated. You want to do 2 because when you do this, you work up to the heaviest weight possible as fast as you can. The volume is low, so you want to increase the barbell volume somewhat. Because on speed day, the volume is going to be very, very high compared to this day. 25 lifts versus working up to maybe 500 bench, you don't have a lot of volume. But a lot of our major things, we do a rack press, is normally 3 pins, right to chest, mid-range, lockout. You can use 3 different grips. Always you got 3 grips to break records with: close, medium, and wide. Keep track of all these grips and all of these records. I never kept a book on how I got there, only what my records are. Board press, 3, 2, 1 board. Those are the most common. You'll find out if you go up to 4 board and you can't do as much, that means your triceps are weak because now you've limited the range of motion, and because at the end of all lifts, you aren't as strong as you think you are. You can't produce great force at the end of all lifts. If you look in Practice Science of Strength Training, it illustrates power clean. At the top of the first pole, force is going backwards. It's not going upwards. That's why the Olympic lifters should use bands on a bar. I mean, that's just the way it is. The bar slows down, you're exerting 0, but if you had bands, it'd be pulling you down. Floor press, again, 3 different grips. It can also be done with a barbell or dumbbells. So we do a lot. Clay Brandenburger years ago did a lot of floor press dumbbells for speed work, just to give you an idea. And I mentioned incline. I like super steep. At least pick 2 angles on the incline. Super steep or maybe 45 degree. Again, you got 3 different grips you can break a record with: decline press, seated press. A lot of people ask me about seated, but if you look at the old timers, 1/3 of the workout was seated, 1/3 incline, and 1/3 was flat bench. And after all, your arms do move in and out. You got to take the bar out, set the bar up, and so forth. But you want to work yourself to a full range of motion. If not, you're just looking to get hurt. I know a guy said one time, if you can press 300, you could bench 300, and that's pretty much true. But if you could bench 300, chances are you can't stand up press 300. So that shows you how important a seated press or even standing press is, for raising up your bench press bench. About once out of every month, we would do a monstrous large amount of dumbbells. I mean, where you were paralyzed. You did 2 positions: incline, decline, seated, flat, whatever you want to do. But I like to take 1 dumbbell and I'd work up to 3 rep max. And you have to take, with the heavy ones, I had to take 6 minutes in between. But for instance, I did 13, 11, and 9 with 155s. And I did 23, 21, and 19 with 125s. All right? But then, that's just the beginning. Then you would change angle, and you'd start over with the dumbbells, high reps. It's for hypertrophy. We're not bodybuilding here, but bigger muscles lift bigger weights. And a lot of guys aren't built anymore, especially the guys that wear gear. They're just not built that well. So you're going to have to put some delts and triceps and pecs on yourself, upper back, a lot of upper back training. So remember, you always use 3 different grips, and that's going to help a lot. Another thing we do a lot of, we have records with mini bands, which is for us is 85 pounds. Monsters is 125. Lights is 200. The way we double it up, put on the bar. They're very, very strong green. I used to watch J.M. Blakely and George Halbert use green with 350 pounds and do sets with it. So it was incredible. I couldn't even get it off the pin. And so, they do a lot of stuff like that. The same thing with chain. You can have a record with 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain. I like to do 6 chain. That was one of my favorites. And, 6 chain, and when you put them on properly, you want part of that chain on the ground. You don't want the chain dangling off the ground. You might as well use real weight. Doesn't make any sense. So look at our DVDs and tapes, and you'll see how to use it. All right, so that's a lot of it. And you can use a 2-set of chain, a mini band, 2-set chain, a monster, whatever you want to do. Constantly change. As long as you change something small, you can keep making progress. Once you start doing the same thing over and over, accommodation sets in, you're dead in the water, you don't make any progress. So just always pay attention to switch around. Always keep all your records. That's very, very important. What like your incline close grip, incline wide grip, for instance. Keep all those records. And the goal is go in the gym, warm up, get up to the big weight fast you can, break that record. Kenny Patterson in Georgia walked around with a 2.5-pound plate. They called it the plan. They break a record by 5 pounds and they moved on. They're very advanced. I mean, Kenny had a 640 raw bench, George 625. So these are very advanced lifters. But they knew if they broke one record per workout, they were done. And I've had people say, well, Louie, what is 5 pounds? Why would you just want to break your record by 5? Well, here's my answer. If you broke your floor press record by 5 pounds every month, it's 60 pounds a year. You'd be sending me flowers and candy. So it's hard to do, but that's basically how it works. So it's a lot more progress than you think. The key is progress. When you stop making progress, you got problems. So I hope that helps for max effort.